This hard surface stuff in Maya is kind of easy. Stupid JL on his channel, always giving tutorials. This ain't that hard. I don't even need his channel. Let me unsubscribe right now. Oh man, look at this. Look at this model I'm doing on this curved surface. Boom, extrude. Just gonna drop this edge loop tool here. Wait a minute. I'm getting pinching. This edge, I need it here, but it's causing pinching here. What do I do? It's killing me.
Come with me if you want to live.
What's going on, you 3D modeling beasts? This is jlmussi. Today we are talking about hard surface modeling on curved surfaces in Maya. I promise you guys this is the last 3D modeling tutorial that I do right after watching the Terminator. Woo! The point that I was trying to make in the intro skit was that when we start hard surface modeling, especially on curved surfaces, the horizontal holding edges, right, or that detail is pretty easy to come by. But as soon as you add that perpendicular loop that sometimes we need to just hold up certain details, it could actually cause pinching in other areas, mainly the curved areas. And that can be challenging, especially if you start off, and that's kind of the game that we play when we do hard surface modeling, especially if you're going into your sub-D preview and you're seeing that pinching. So it can be challenging to create details on those curved surfaces, reinforce certain areas, but actually leave other areas alone. I'm also going to be sharing other tips on how to create details on curved surfaces on your hard surface models in Maya. Now, how this video came about is my man Dave came through in the comment section and demanded that I do a video explaining how to do details on a curved surface. So I checked out his comment and I decided to do the video and actually add on some more information to it. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start with a cylinder here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move it on the ground plane. So I'll go into Y, put a 1. Oops, that's a rotate. Put these in the translate Y. So essentially what I'm going to be trying to do is create a square cutout where I have all the 4 corners reinforced, yet I don't have any pinching that is being caused on the sides of that cylinder, right? So here, what I'm going to do with the multi-cut, add a edge loop in the middle. So I'll hold down a control middle mouse click to add that edge loop in the middle. And now what we can do is add 1 here and 1 here. And what I'm doing is actually holding down Control and Shift to just snap to certain increments, so we get the same spacing on the top and the bottom, right? So from here, what I can do is go to face selection. I'll hold down Tab to paint my face selection here, and I'll go ahead and just paint kind of these 4 faces here. And what I can do is I can go ahead and get my extrude tool, and I'll extrude inward. So with the with the offset, I'll go in and I'll kind of create that window for me, right? So now we have something like this. And we can go ahead and do another extrude. And we can just get the move tool, push inward. And there we go, right? So now comes the task of reinforcing these edges, right? Because if we just hit 3 now, it's going to lose a lot of that crispness in the edges. So first thing that I like to do is go here to my face mode, hold down Tab. What we can do is just select these guys, hold down Tab again, and paint this selection here. And then I'll go ahead and do an extrude and just do inward. Give me an edge loop going this way. And then what I can do here is drop 1 here, drop 1 here, and all this is with the multi-cut tool, right? So we'll drop 1 here as well. That's going to be the easier one. So if we go ahead and smooth this out, we see that we're getting some hardness on this corner, but ultimately we want to go ahead and go up and down to really get a sharp corner. So I'll add one here, I'll add one here, and let me redo that one. There we go, that spacing is better. So now if I hit 3, now the corners are being held up pretty well, right? But the problem here is that, as you might have guessed, we're going to get pinching in these areas, right? So I typically recommend going with a blend, because the blend is going to basically highlight those pinched areas a lot better than the Lambert. So here I'll right click, and then I'll go to assign existing material, blend. So now if we orbit here, we definitely see the pinching here, right? So the pinching is being caused by this loop here. And this kind of the catch 22, where we basically need this edge here at this corner, but we don't need it here, and that causes the pinching. So what do we do about this? Well, we got to do a little bit of edge flow work. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to work symmetrically. So I'll go ahead and basically just select this guy here, this guy here. So all these edges that I want to separate, and then I'll shift right click, and what I'll do is detach components, right? So once this is detached, what I can do is double click this. Now this is going to be isolated. So I can go to select, and then we can do a inverse. So we're going to flip that selection over. I'll hit delete, and we're basically just going to work on this part and then symmetrize everything over, right? So now what we could do is basically start doing some of our edge flow work. So we know that we need this edge here, but we don't want it here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, delete this, and then just double click this, delete this, right? And now what I can do is with my multi-cut, I'm going to take this guy here and push it here. So essentially what I'm going to do is take this edge and run it parallel to my cylinder here, right? Or to this edge here. So now what I can do is delete this guy, right? And now we have this guy here, which is causing a try here, and it's causing some pinching too. So we need to add another edge loop. Now, if we go here and we add the edge loop, we don't want it to continue here, right? So usually what I do in this case is I just add one vert to basically, so if we go here to vert mode, we'll see that this vert is here. So what this vert's going to do is actually just act as a stopper for our edge loop. So now what I can do is hold down Control, middle mouse click. Then what I can do is just take this guy here and then connect it here. I'll hit enter, take this edge, delete it. And now if we go to 3 mode, this is being held up. If we go to object mode, not that much pinching, right? So what else we could do here is also take my multi-cut. We'll run one loop here, one loop here. So this is what we get right here. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and go back to object mode. I'll go ahead and make sure that my pivot is in the middle, which it should still be. So with that being said, I'll shift right click. I'll go to mirror, options. I'll go ahead and mirror in the X. And I'll take off cut geometry off. Make sure this merge threshold is nice and low. So now we have that part. I'll shift right click. I'll go ahead and go to mirror again. This time, we'll go ahead and run it in the Y. And I'll take that off. And what I can do is just move this pivot point here. I could have done before the mirroring, but that's fine. And now I'll go ahead and do this one more time. And we'll do this in the Z. And there we go. So here's our finished model. And if I go here to vert mode, I left some hanging verts. To get rid of hanging verts, they're pretty easy. All you got to do is just select everything, hit delete, and you'll get rid of them. Let's go to object mode. And we still do get a little bit of pinching here, as we can see. There's not much that we'll be able to do because this is a really low res cylinder. So usually when you're cutting out details, you want to go a little bit more dense. And here I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here I built another similar model, and you see that it is a lot more dense. This one had 60 spans on the cylinder versus 20 that I started. And if we smooth this one, even with the blend, this looks pretty good, right? So here I'm just gonna zoom in on this corner, and you actually see no pinching at all. So that's kind of the difference. So this is something that I kind of struggled with when I first started doing hard surface. I try to keep everything very low, but on curved surfaces, your best bet is to go a little bit more denser than you usually would. That way you have less volume loss, and all those corners are going to be better contained by the added edges. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at if we wanted to basically expand on this, right? So maybe we want to do this more than just one time, or just have it done to one area. Since we're talking about curved areas, I want to get a little bit into radial symmetry, all right? So here, let's just say that instead of this one slot or recess area, that we wanted 6, right? And like I said, this is actually based off a cylinder with 60 divisions. So here what we're going to do is we need to figure out how many spans is this section that we're going to build, right? So I'm going to go here to my face selection mode, and holding down tab, I'm just going to go ahead and paint this selection here. All right, so this is going to be pretty much the pattern that we want to build, and we want to basically replicate it around the cylinder. So the first thing that we need is, well, how many faces is this? So this is 10 faces. So this pattern is going to involve 10 faces. The cylinder was built on 60 faces, right? So this is going to fit fine, right? That means that we're going to be able to have 6 of these patterns revolved around this cylinder. Now, what we need to do is first separate it, right? So here I'll go to my, let me just go back to one mode, and I'll go ahead and get my edges. So I'll double click this guy here, and I double click this guy here. And you see that I basically selected the area that I want to work with and separate. Now, a lot of you, and I used to do this all the time, is if I wanted to isolate this, I would go around, do the whole deleting game, select faces, reselect, but that can be cumbersome. So if you want to make just a precision selection and peel off, what you can do is just select your edges, and then shift right click, go to detach components. And now all you got to do is double click this guy, and that's what you basically want to keep. So if we double click this, we can hit delete, and there it is. All right. So now we go back to object mode, and we want to work with radial symmetry, right? Because we want to create this cylinder again with that detail. So I'm going to go to edit, and then duplicate special, and access the option box. So we have 2 options here. One is copy, which is going to basically create a copy, a static copy. And if we do changes to our original, none of those changes are going to be ported over. Or we could do instance, where it's going to create instances and keep that live connection. So I'll show you instances because I think it's pretty powerful. So I'll go here to instance, and we need to... Hello? All right, now that we have our cylindrical slice, right, we basically got to do a little bit of math. So I'll go here to edit and duplicate special options. Now that we have our slice, we got to do a little bit of math, right? So we need 5 additional, right, because we want a total of 6. So that's going to be 5 copies. And then we need 60 degrees in the Y, right? So why is this 60? Well, there's 360 degrees in a full circle. And if we divide that by 6, which is the number of faces or sections, we'll get 60, right? So that's going to give us the degrees that we want. And then we need to work in the y-axis. So if we hit duplicate special, we get boo-boo, right? The problem is our pivot. So if I go here, we need to change this pivot to pivot from where we actually want this to revolve from, right? So we'll hit D, we'll hold down V here, and then we'll hit W again. Now I'll just go back to, instead of just going to duplicate special again, we can just middle mouse click, since that was the last command that we did, right? So it's gonna bring up the option box, duplicate special, and there we go, right? Since we made this an instance, you'll see that if we go here to shading, wireframe unshaded, and maybe we decided that after duplicating this with the instance option that we wanted to add more details, it's not going to be a problem. We don't have to backtrack. So I could come in here, right? Maybe I want to bevel this edge. Yeah, and I forgot to hit instance. So silly JL. So let me go back here again. And then I'll do instance, duplicate special. So now I can select this edge, bevel it to get a little bit of thickness out of this one. Go into face mode, select that loop, extrude inward, right? And then if I know that I'm going to need holding edges here, what we can do is put the divisions to 3. That's going to save us a little bit of legwork. Then with the multi-cut here, I can go ahead and add a holding edge here, 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 and here. And then I can just go ahead and select this face here. Delete it, and then go here, select these faces, deselect these, and delete. So I need to add a couple holding edges here as well to hold this shape a bit better on the inside. So now we want to create one unified object. Deleting history on this won't work. So what you actually have to do is convert the instances to an object. So I'll select all my instances. I'll go to modify, convert, and then I'll go to instance to object. So now these are all baked in. If I go to face mode here, you see that it's no longer updating. So now I could just take all these guys here. I'll go ahead and do a mesh and combine. I'll take all my verts here. And then what I can do is I can do a merge. And now if I smooth this out, there we go. There's our model. If we go to shading and turn off wireframe unshaded, that looks pretty good. Okay. Last technique that I want to show you is actually creating something on a flat plane and then adding a Bend Deformer to actually give it the curvature, right? And this is how I created this guy right here. So if you see that pattern, it looks kind of complex, but if you break it down and you do it straight with the proper divisions going horizontally, it's actually not that difficult, right? So I saved a slice here, right? And I did that for a reason. So let's go ahead and get rid of any thickness here. So I'll take this guy here, this here, and then this here as well. I'll go ahead and detach the components like I did previously. I'll double click this, and then what I can do is go to select, and I can select the inverse, and those are the shells there that are separated. I can delete that. And then now I'll go to vertice mode. I'll scale flat, right? So working on a flat plane, a lot of times, especially creating patterns, can be a lot easier than starting out with a curved surface. Maybe you're doing like treads for a tire. Maybe you're tracing a reference image. So working on a flat plane and then bending it can definitely have its set of advantages, right? So here, what we first want to do is create a strip or a long pattern. So we need to get a little bit of information. So what I'll do here is first freeze the transform. So I'll go to modify and then freeze the transforms. I'll hit D, V, and then just snap to this vert right here in the corner. I'll access my move tool. I'll hit Control D again, right? I'll hold down V to snap. Now we see that we need to move in a value of 1 in the X to basically just be flush with that other piece. So I got the information I needed. I can delete that. And once again, I'll go to Edit and then Duplicate Special, Option Box. We could go to Edit, reset the settings, and then we'll create a strip of a total of 10, so we need 9 more. And then as we found out, we need a value of 1 on the X, and then we'll go ahead and hit duplicate special, and there we go, right? So we'll select this one. We'll go ahead and combine the mesh, and then I'll just isolate this. And now we definitely have to merge these verts. So again, I'll select all my verts, do a merge command, which the merge is. So to merge your verts, you can do edit and then edit mesh and merge right there. Yes, I got it. I'm trying to record, babe. I got it. Like I can't keep. Okay, bye. I can't get any work done around here. People calling me. Leave me the hell alone. I got my subscribers to take care of. All right. So now we have our pattern, and the last order of business is to bend it into place. So with my pattern, with my piece selected here, I'll go to edit, duplicate special, and then I already set this up. So I need 10 total. So I need 9 additional, and we already found out that we need 1 unit over in the X. So I'll do duplicate special. I'll shift click this guy. I'll go ahead and isolate selected. And now we need to combine this. So I'll go to mesh and combine. And then I'll select all the verts here. So I need to merge the verts, which is under edit. And then we can do merge. Use the lowest value that'll work so we don't get any vert pinching going on. And now it's just time to basically create our deformer. So we'll go to deform, and then we'll go to non-linear. We'll go to bend, and the first order of business is to rotate this. So I'll go ahead and enable my rotation. Make sure that I basically orient this on which way I want to bend it. So I'll hold down J to constrain to 15-degree increments. So that should be at 90, which it is. All right, so the next order of business is give it a little bit of curvature to see which way this is bending. So I'll go to curvature here, and you see that it's bending this way. So maybe if you wanted to work on an arch, you would just do this, delete the history, and you'll be done. Or if you wanted to replicate something that, like we did previously, you would just need to rotate this one more time. So I'll do this here, and then now I know which way I need to flip it additionally. So I'll hold down J again, flip it this way, and there we go, right? And if I wanted to have these guys touch, what I would do is just go back here to curvature and go all the way here. And then just to finish this off, I can take this and then do edit, delete by type, history. It'll get rid of that deformer. And then what I can do is just select all the verts again, and then just merge the verts to get rid of that border edge. And now we can do something like come in here, and maybe we want to extrude outward. And there we go. There's our shape. So this is just another tool that you'll have in your tool belt when creating curved hard surfaces in Maya. So that's the end of the video, folks. Thank you so much for coming through and spending some time with me and improving on your skill sets when it comes to hard surface modeling in Maya. As always, please comment your thoughts on the comment section down below. Make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. So until we meet again, I will catch you next time.